Hey everybody, I want to thank everybody for the likes and the follows, for the documentation that I've been posting on my platform. I want to say that everything that I've posted, I have studied myself thoroughly, continue to study thoroughly, and will continue on this journey, educating myself and trying to educate everybody else with this judicial system and preferably the corruption within this judicial system. I want to talk about my lawsuit that I have going on and how I got to where I am right now. You know, I'll first, give a shout out to the two individuals that I work with out of Georgia real closely and out of New York that have taught me so much. I mean, more than I could have ever imagined. Who I call F. Lee Bailey Jr. and Johnny Cochran Jr. That's who I call them. So they're some dynamite guys. My particular area where I'm really specialized in from experience and what I've learned over the last 4 years is family law. So anything else with all that, passport getting certified in UCC, like people want to ask me about, I really don't know anything about that. But I have documentation on it that I have been sent from other individuals, and a lot of it. And I do study it, but I'm not on that battlefield yet. I wanted to let everybody know how my case came about. My case came about in federal court from this unlawful and illegal shit from Title 4D here in Hamilton County, Indiana, with Judge Michael Casati, Amy Mars, who is now Amy Crider, Christy Smith, Catherine Berry, who is now retired, and now the new players, Lisa L. Lancaster out of Johnson County, Indiana, Christopher Barrows, who owns Barrow Legal Group in Indianapolis, Indiana, and Kenneth Scott Cook, who owns Cook Family Law out of Indianapolis, Indiana, and Sheriff Dennis Quakenbush of Hamilton County, Indiana, and Josh Carey, who is now retired, which I respect that, but he was the commander of the jail at the time that they arrested me. My situation came about because and this part, I blame myself because, as they say, ignorance of the law is no excuse. For 14 years, I went along with this game and this charade of fraud before I found out that child support was voluntary. And at first, I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do because just like all you guys, your parents teach you to respect authority, judges, police officers, lawyers, prosecutors, whatever. Until I found out that these people are not who they say they are and that they operate under the color of law, state actors. And even in some Supreme Court cases, the justices have referred to child support as a scheme. And we all know what scheme means. So around my first arrest came about in I believe it was like October of 2017. And how it came about was I was self-employed at the time. Let me start there. Let me start me being self-employed. First of all, self-employed individuals are not in the child support program. I repeat, are not in the child support program because Congress never made any provisions for 1099 workers. But the states came in and made their own program and said, hey, 1099 workers are involved in child support. I didn't know that at the time until I met the two individuals that I just spoke about, in New York and in Georgia. Where it all started was I was self-employed when I first got paper saying show up for court, okay? And I'm gonna just jump ahead real fast because they only let you get 10 minutes on here. I first was told to come to court in 2005, and I showed up because I thought, I'm gonna take care of my children. Who would not want to take care of their children? From there, from 2005, at the time I owned owned and operated successfully. I had 4 employees and 4 part-time employees and 1 full-time employee plus myself. It was a property management company that primarily cleaned commercial buildings, large buildings. That was very successful, was able to put me in the most expensive, well, the third most expensive county in the state of Indiana. Now, mind you, like I just said, I went to court on that child support hearing, and they were fine. I was paying my support, and as you know, self-employed, you don't get paid like everybody else. Your invoices come in, and you disperse out money as you get money in. And I had everything set up to where it was on a monthly basis. Okay. From there, 2005, from 2005 till about 2000, I would say 10, they had me coming back to court every 30 to 45 days, literally, whether I paid the support or not, to do these so-called compliance hearings is what they were doing. So sorry about that. I was interrupted. So around 2010, somewhere around there, 2013, I noticed that they started getting a lot more aggressive, telling me that I have not made any payments, yada, yada, yada. And I know I have, but again, I want to remind everybody, I only get money coming in on a monthly basis. So I'm only able to pay on a monthly basis. Okay, so they at one point tried to put me on a road crew, picking up trash and report to the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department in Indiana on the weekends. And I'm like, what? Totally disregarding the fact and knowing the fact that 1099 workers were not involved in the child support program. So I'm going to jump ahead here. Eventually, around about 2014, they started getting real aggressive, telling me I need to close my business, my business was probably making a little bit over 200 grand a year. Okay. And I was able to pay myself, a nice distribution out of that in order to pay the child support and pay the things that I need to pay of my personal life. Okay. I own the company, but I don't own the company's money. So they were threatening me, telling me I need to close my business or they was going to put me in jail if I didn't close my business and get a job. And I couldn't figure out what they were talking about because I'm like, I'm self-employed, only to find out later that through my own studying and research, they wanted me to close my business and get a job so they could do an income withholding order from an employer that they have a contract with. And they have contracts with every employer you can think of under their local statutes and codes. So finally, they threatened me. I finally closed my business. Couldn't find no job nowhere. Ended up working at Old Charlie's restaurant in Fishers, Indiana, as a dishwasher, making $11.50 an hour. Did you hear that? $11.50 an hour. Couldn't even afford the child support now at this point because it was $800 a month. So when I go back to court, they tell me that with the job that I'm making at $11.50 an hour, I'm not even after child support comes out. She said, Your Honor, the prosecutor Amy Mars, he's not even making minimum wage after child support. Not that that's their damn business because the child support is being paid. So they incarcerated me. Okay, that's what they did. That was the first one that they incarcerated me on. I only got like a minute here left. So essentially, that's what set me in motion to learn everything I could about this corrupt family court judicial system that operates completely in commerce and admiralty law, locking people up for a debt. Because they'll try to say the order, but the order is the debt. And then, by the way, the orders, there is no such thing as an order because the Supreme Court just recently ruled here that child support orders are not valid orders because it gives them too much power to interact and act as if they are a real court. So I'm going to get back on here in a few more minutes and tell you pretty much, what happened from here after that first arrest and me studying and trying to find out all I can and how I move forward from here and the very first lawsuit that I filed. And I'm going to just take it from there.